Tanosa.
My name is Naya.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm a sophomore at JU and a film major, and I am a spiritual person.
I'm a senior and I consider myself a Baptist.
I go to Cherry Burger High School. I'm 17. Fun fact, one of my favorite artists are Amy Winehouse, and I identify as a spiritualist.
How would you define religion?
How would you define religion? No. It stems from the belief in some kind of higher power or multiple higher powers. It is some kind of belief in the metaphysical and how that impacts our lives here.
Religion is, I would say, a lot of beliefs followed by a group of people or a community rather than a single person. And it's just what all of them believe in as a collective.
Well, I identify religion as a safe blanket for people. Also kind of an excuse, yeah.
Well, I grew up Christian, but now I'm kind of straying away from that term just because it's associated. I would just say it has a negative connotation to me now.
So being a Baptist to me is something that first I was born into. My family is Baptist. It is geared to more of the African American race. Also, it comes from the South. My mom grew up in the South. She was born in Louisiana, and so that's how she was raised. And my dad as well. He was born in Missouri. So just not only the areas that they were born in and then grew up in, it was just passed on to me because that's what we practice in our household.
It's been a long journey with that. Everyone has their spiritual awakening at some point, but mine's definitely started in 2019. I guess I just kind of got tired of going to Bible study. I wanted to see what was down there inside myself. Spirituality for me, it's really all about the connection with yourself and also ancestors.
What was your first impactful experience practicing faith?
I've been in the church since I was born into a church family.
As a child, my father, he would put sticky rice out on the trees, and he told me that he would leave them there for his ancestors and that they would come and help us. Spirits would protect us whenever we're in danger. Same way as God would, but we'd use it as ancestors and spirit guides.
When my grandpa took sick and he was in the hospital for an extended amount of time, almost 2 months, I want to say. And although there have been a lot of moments that I've had that I would say were impactful, that has to be the one. Just seeing my grandpa in the state that he was in and then coming out healthier and stronger than he was before, it really strengthened my relationship with God.
Me and my siblings sang. We didn't have a choir. It was kind of just the three of us or the two of us. Worship was probably my favorite part. So that's a part that stands out to me, singing worship songs and learning them with my dad and singing with him and everything. I quickly got used to standing up in front of people and performing. Learning to pray is also something that stands out to me.
Growing up, did you ever feel isolation within the community?
Sorry. Yeah.
No, because since the age of 3, religion or spirituality is all that I knew, and I was always around other kids and their families who believed in what I believed in. All of my schools were Christian-based schools, so I never felt alone because that was just what I knew since 3 years old.
I definitely did feel isolation. Definitely did. I just felt like something was wrong with me, especially as a queer person. When I started to come out of the closet, I just felt like it was wrong because my mom, she had found my notes when I came out as gay. Before I did, I was outed. So she told me that I was going to hell. And from that point on, I just felt like I didn't belong in the Christian community. The way I dressed growing up, and also a Black Christian church, they are very judgmental. So I just always felt like I did not belong there, or I just wasn't welcomed. My culture has put a lot of impact on my religion, actually. I grew up with a Jamaican mother. She was very, very heavily Christian, and my father was a former Buddhist. And so I had a split childhood where I would be in Sundays on church from, let's say, 9 a.m. to probably 12, because, you know, Black churches do run a little longer. And then I would go to the temple. And it was a very unique experience. As a Black person, I did not feel comfortable or welcomed into that religion. It wasn't really that open.
It's conflicting because my church is my family, but you still feel like isolated within that family, especially getting older, like into middle school and especially high school, kind of learning more about sexuality and like gender identity, and knowing that that part of myself isn't really anything that's discussed.
Have you ever had any doubts in your faith?
Sorry. Okay. I have had.
Only as I gotten older, because of course you go through more things in your life that kind of cause you to question, you know, is he really, you know, real, or is he really helping you the way how maybe he has helped others? And for example, there's a cousin of mine who actually, I just found out, she doesn't believe in God. She believes in a higher power. So she goes off of more of like scientific knowledge, which makes no sense to me. But then it kind of got me thinking, like, does she have a point?
Yeah, my doubts have been more recent. But there's an overall belief that I don't think is ever gonna go away.
You know, I would see everybody catching the Holy Ghost, but I would never feel anything like that. I saw other kids dancing, you know, quote unquote catching the Holy Ghost, and I thought something was wrong with me. So I kind of started to doubt.
Final question, what changes do you wish would happen within the spiritual community?
I wish there was more accountability.
I wish people would open up and talk about, you know, their religion or their faith more, because at the end of the day, as long as you believe in God, you're a Christian. You're considered, you know, you have Christianity in your life. And so if we can like talk about this more and not like shy away from it. It's the same with politics. Religion and politics are like the two biggest topics that nobody wants to talk about or address.
Yeah, so there are definitely lots of things we should work on with religion, period. Also with race.
So I think it's just mainly like a lack of acknowledgement for the existence of people who identify differently. You can't really blame people for being hurt or detaching themselves from something that doesn't take the initiative to detach itself from hate.